This week we're dicing.
And slicing with death.
We're teetering on the edge of technology.
And generally risking life and limb to bring you this week's cataclysmic collection of code.
You're watching Bits.
Tonight you can catch Booth interfering with dead people.
I'll be kicking some balls.
And we'll all be digging up the not completely dead Saturn and Mega Drive consoles. You blinked!
But first, it's Emily's crack.
Team.
Oni was an exciting prospect when we first heard about it back in '99. Here was an all-out action game featuring a kick-ass female lead doing martial arts a go-go and all set in a super anime style. But something must have happened. Somewhere. Somehow the project must have been tampered with because the end result was far from the blueprint designs. The creators promised us cutting-edge technology, 3D multi-level interactive urban settings and cooperative multiplayer action. If only it was this good.
You play Konoko, a young martial arts expert about to make her mark with the government agency. As you bounce, beat and fire your way through the initial training level, you realise that Konoko is incredibly versatile. Konoko is also a dab hand with a gun thanks to laser sighting. She can only carry one at any given time though, but gets hold of some choice weapons later in the game. Unfortunately, that stretched the excitement level about as far as it goes. Really, Oni is just an incredibly bland game. Once you get past that first level, you go through a number of dull cut scenes, a million miles from the all-out action of the opening one.
It's all a bit uninspiring. Once you get into the action, you're faced by level after samey-looking level. There's no real variation in the cityscape, no interaction apart from triggering the odd door, and no brain power required. Just a lot of action to get your arm muscles seizing up on the keyboard.
Although Konoko's a cool mover, Oni fails even on its strongest point, the action. The range of baddies appears to make no difference. They all attack in exactly the same way, and you'll recognise them by their outfits. A few choice moves from Konoko and your enemies fall, and you'll never really explore the full breadth of her moves because you'll never have to.
Essentially, Oni's an okay game, just a little disappointing. Had they worked up the storyline, improved the graphics, inserted some adventure, and actually done something more interesting with the puzzles than just having physical ones, and of course made the environments a little bit more involving, then perhaps they would have actually had a game that was worth you shelling out your cash for when it comes out on PC and PlayStation 2. Go, go, go!
Sega have recently announced that they're ending production of their most successful console to date.
Yes, it's checkout time for the Dreamcast.
On the face of it, it seems a surprise move for a company who have learned a few hard lessons since the days of their early consoles. The Mega Drive and the Saturn never quite successfully captured the global corner of the market that Sega were hoping it would. And then enter rank outsiders Sony with their PlayStation stall. And it looked like that corner was lost forever.
Down but not out, Sega retired from the home console scene for 3 years to create the world's first super console, the Dreamcast. It was the most powerful machine seen yet. It pioneered online gaming, had sensational games at launch with better ones to follow, and all at a competitive price.
And damn if it wasn't a pretty little thing too. What's that?
It's a Death Day cake.
Any independent retailer will tell you that this has been Sega's best Christmas. In some cases, Sega even outsold Sony. So what's the problem? Well, apparently it costs more to make a Dreamcast than it does to buy one. In short, every time you shell out for a Dreamcast, Sega actually loses money.
Insane! Don't they have O-level economics in Japan?
But it's not the end of the line. Apart from the arcades and, of course, the 100 Dreamcast games that are set to be released this year alone, the future of Sega's home console gaming market is about to take 2 new routes.
First of all, Sega will continue to produce the same quality of games for other consoles, so we might expect to see the next Sonic on the PlayStation 2. And secondly, Sega are developing a brand new machine, a set-top box that'll offer internet access, gaming, and interactive TV.
Oh, and they're very, very bold about it.
In this great global tide of network evolution, Sega aims to become the world's leading network gaming service provider.
While Sega will be providing the operating system, they will not be manufacturing it. Instead, they're handing over their screwdrivers to a Yorkshire-based company called Pace Micro Technologies.
Back, come!
So with Sega focusing on what makes them money,
To games.
we've decided to look back on 5 of the long-forgotten triumphs of the Saturn and the Mega Drive.
The cool thing about this little lot is the consoles and their games are still available from independent and the more eclectic high street chain stores.
You can get a Saturn or a Mega Drive for 20 quid, and the games come in at £3. So if you're gaming on a budget, then you'll want to pay close attention to the following.
Who did Sega think they were when they arrived with the Mega Drive in 1990? Everyone knew Nintendo ruled with their entertainment system, but with Sega's fresh-out-the-wrapper console came a character that had all Sega's attitude. A punk rock blue marsupial with a taste for speed and jewellery. He was OG, man!
Yeah, Sonic's overly gold.
Welcome to Streets of Rage. Not Brooklyn, not Brixton, not even Staines. No, this is a near-future dystopia long before the likes of Kingpin and Soldier of Fortune were even a glint in the mad eyes of their creators. It landed with a bitch slap in the face, but now it just looks like Tekken Force on a Sunday stroll. Streets of Rage was desensitizing sweet little ankle biters way before Mortal Kombat spurted blood onto your guilty fingers.
Then came the upgrade. Yes, the infamous 32-bit upgrade that nobody bought. Except for my friend Danny. One of the only titles to make his investment worthwhile was Virtua Fighter. Now suffering from a bad case of sequelitis, the original's claim to fame is that it's the one game that Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto admits that he would like to have on his CV. The version you see here is Virtua Fighter on the Saturn. The Saturn? Listen up.
Too many pieces of kit was taking the piss. People weren't putting out their money, that is. So Sega launched the all-in-one 32-bit Saturn in the mid-90s. Along with it came this brilliant puzzle game, Knights from the Sonic team. Keep your fingers crossed for a re-release on the Dreamcast.
Panzer Dragoon Saga is another Saturn-only title. A stunning adventure beat-em-up hybrid, this was sent out to combat Zelda on the SNES, except this was in 3D. Thank you, Sega, for pushing the boundaries once again.
Now it's Back to the Future with Boof's review of a brand new game.
Clive Barker's Undying is an ambitious project which aims to marry the action of first-person shooter Half-Life with the storylines and atmosphere of Resident Evil. Exceptionally sexy, but hard acts to follow. Ooh. With the emphasis placed firmly on character and plot, the guys down at EA teamed up with horror buddy Mr. Clive Barker. But one look at their original character, a balding, tattooed oaf, and Clive told them to go away and come back only when they could give him a hero he could shaft. Cut to a rugged 1920s version of Mulder, a tortured soul with a sixth sense called Patrick Galloway, who's completely straight acting and butch, of course. Clive was delighted and their baby was born.
The more I saw, the more I believe there are forces beyond our control.
This is ultimately a first-person shooter, a game where you don't even really see the character you're supposed to identify with. Still, the plot is pretty good. Set in 1920s Ireland, you play Patrick, who's been summoned by his old friend Jeremiah to unfold a curse which has been plaguing his family.
This family's had so much tragedy. I hope you can help him.
What is really cool is the balance between firing your trusty arsenal and casting magical spells. The controls are so fluid, you can blast away at serpents with the beautiful Tibetan war cannon in your left hand while shooting ectoplasm out at pesky ghosts with the other. This stud is multi-talented.
Sounds like it came from downstairs.
I'll check it out.
There are some real innovative elements of gameplay which keep you on edge. Sound is used effectively as whispers make you spin round, darkness can suddenly unfold around you, doors slam shut in front of you, and mirrors confuse and give you classic horror film double takes. Though imaginative and crisply designed, the game wasn't as genuinely scary as I'd have liked. It was almost too crisp. No filth or grime. The ghosts often look a tad bored and just cackle away like a comedy panto rent-a-ghost. There are plenty of thrills to be had on this ride, and though I wouldn't say it was genuinely scary, it is atmospheric and extremely innovative. Mr. B certainly knows how to keep you coming back for more. Clive Barker's Undying is coming out for your PCs in March.
There appears to be a bit of a debate on whether Bill Gates will take over the console world.
Though Gary here seems less unsure.
Dear Bits, Bill Gates take over the console world? Hells no. Gates is as likely to take over the world with his bigger than a PC console as Final Fantasy is to becoming a first-person shooter. Only 1.5 years of research compared to the PlayStation 7. It's underdeveloped, no DVD, no USB, and it's overhyped. The only real competition in the upcoming console wars is between the PlayStation 2 and the Nintendo GameCube. Microsoft should stick to software, says Gary.
Well, dear Gary.
Get a lawyer.
Dude, maybe you should get one from the same place who got this information.
Yeah, just take a look at this.
Munch's Odyssey will be a revolution in computer gaming, going head-to-head against the pervasive black and white for ideal holiday location. Don't forget, keep Oddworld tidy, or you won't have it left to visit.
As for Malice, just take a look at this to fart on your disgruntled opinions. Poo on you. Boof likes the Xbox so much she decided to join in and play the part.
No, that's Alice, heroine of Argonaut's new platform, exclusive to the Xbox.
Gaza, my son, there is a DVD drive, but Microsoft have decided that this console is just that, a console for gaming only, so you won't be able to play back your dirty blue movies that you bought off the internet.
If you do want a console to do that, you can always get the PlayStation 2. Or you can get a happy bundled package with your Dreamcast.
There are 4 USB ports, actually, your controller ports, meaning you can plug in plenty of peripherals and other gaming essentials.
And you're forgetting the machine's brain, with a 233 megahertz NVIDIA graphics chip, 8 gigs of hard disk space, and of course the 750 megahertz CPU. It's all pretty impressive.
As for the software, okay, Microsoft isn't known for its stunning collection of titles, but the roster of developers already signed up for the Xbox is mind-blowing.
Yeah, don't deny a new challenger to the race. It can only shake things up for the better.
If you want to mouth off in a less careless fashion, please do so at our website, www.forlater.com/bits.
And after the break, we'll be asking, do bears shit in the woods?
Welcome back to Bits.
And tonight's FMV of the week is a magnificent but unreleased Project Eden.
It's from the same kennels as Lara, created by the Tomb Raider team.
Typical core design with its big movie values, swooping cameras, and sumptuous orchestral scores.
Feast your peepers on this.
It's a future shock story of overpopulation so severe that the rich choose to live in the sky while the rest live way below. The poorest actually spend their whole lives under the ground. An urban protection agency has to maintain the great panoply of connecting structures that keep this nightmare alive. Some of these engineers have gone missing in the hellish lower depths of this Blade Runner existence. All you've got to do is go down there and find them. So classic, so irresistible.
in terms of gameplay, you lead a team of 4 adventurers.
You can choose between single player, cooperative, and 4-player network.
You can switch between first person, third person, and even second person modes.
And they're also planning an online version.
The game's due for release on PlayStation 2 and PC in May.
If you think our FMVs of the week are caca and have some quality shit you want to tell us about, then you can do so via our website. Address is coming up.
Now it's time for Shop Shelf.
In MotoGP, there are fast bikes, shiny leather boots, speed, and more speed. To be honest, this wasn't the most celebrated of arcade experiences, and no one thought it was worth shipping outside of Japan. Hey, but petrol heads have huge appetites, so if you think this unquestionably fast and glossy game could fill a space, and you happen to be a lucky owner of a PlayStation 2, then rev your engines. Vroom.
Tim Westwoods of the Computer Geek Worlds unite! Your Massive is here. Get wicked with DJ Nights, the hip-hop sessions for your PC. It's an online role-playing and strategy game of all things. Shop for tunes and grab some Z's during the day. Take some stimulants like coffee and play private gigs at night. But if you really wanted it, you'd have probably already done it for real. Now that is the bomb.
How long is it since you've played a side-scrolling beat-em-up? Gekido brings this old-school genre slightly into the present with 3D graphics. One nice quirk is that this game does allow 2-player cooperative play and background objects you can use as ammo a la Power Stone. But unless you're a side-winding purist, this will feel a little flat. But alright if you want a budget.
Get your motor running and your destructive instincts firing on all cylinders with another value release. This Crash 'em Up is the way to get it all out of your system without doing even a $5's worth of damage to your dad's Robin Reliant. Single race mode offers demolition, chase, chicken, last man standing, and suicide options.
This little number is a tie-in to a new Disney movie. Uh-oh. The Emperor with a bad attitude has fallen on hard times. His high-end mightiness crosses his right-hand woman, who in a fit of pique turns him into a llama. A woman scorned. Voices and arch dialogue from John Goodman and Eartha Kitt. I openly admit it. I am a Philistine when it comes to the beautiful game. Hell, I don't even watch American football. So, when I was asked to review ISS Pro Evolution 2 on the PlayStation, I grabbed my colors and stuck on the fake tattoos. Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Isn't it? The two reigning champions of computerized foot action, EA and Konami, rarely change their tactics. Sequel after sequel after sequel.
That's a foul.
It doesn't really matter what I say about Pro Evolution 2 because the Convertive have already got their advanced copies in the post. Still, as they churn them out, Bits are responsible for informing you. Up to this point, one of FIFA's advantages is that they've had real players. ISS has had to make do with amusing collections of letters that somehow in the darkness after a night at the local watering hole looked like the names and rugged good looks of some of the nicest asses in the world. However, with Pro Evolution 2, you don't have to edit your person of pixelated pectorals. You can abuse David Beckham and Michael Owen as you will. Along with the ability to abuse real people comes the consequences. Players can now be injured for 5 minutes up to an entire season, making for some highly amusing post-pub strategies. Now we'll see who gets to review the good games. They've forgotten to sack the music people, so unless you're into Latin lounge rock, you should turn the volume off on the TV. You'll not miss any commentary because it sounds like Terry Butcher's taking 5 most of the time. Paul Whitehouse would be shit out of luck for any fuddy-duddy match of the day inspiration here. It would have been nice, however, to have had a bit more direction from the Butchmeister, considering the controls suffer from the same confusion that have plagued the genre since computerized football began. How do you deal with 12 rambunctious hunks of toned man-meat using only one feeble grey controller?
Actually, that's 11 men on each team.
Bothered? Like a beat 'em up, there's a steep learning curve which should not be practiced against anyone who has a clue. I'm not going to turn into a page 3 reading hooligan after playing ISS Pro Evolution 2, but I have learned enough about a game of two halves to finally understand the boyhood fascination of insisting that if that was me, I'd do so much better. Apart from the usual team-based control annoyances, ISS Pro Evolution 2 remains the #1 choice amongst discerning, self-respecting PlayStation footballers. Myself, I'm looking forward to picking fights in cities across the globe, but the game comes out in March! Yeah! Dying in video games is so lame. At least in film, they make it exciting and gratifying and dramatic.
Yeah, it can take hours to die in a film.
And it's instant in a game.
Yeah, it's just bang, bang, you're dead. Next.
And the potential to make it something more is always overlooked.
Yeah, make them humorous.
Make them bloody.
Make them memorable. Now, here's a classic. Everybody knows her, some of us loathe her. Yes, it's the queen bee of the video game, taking an accidental detour to an early grave.
Of course, always punctuating those final moments before hitting terra firma with a crunch is her orgasmic gasp of air before she checks out of the Life Hotel. Another one for the oral senses now. House of the Dead 2 has got to be the unadulterated B-movie of video games. But what makes it so memorable is the auditory sensation that it's your blood, guts and entrails spewing from the gaping wound in your body that was left by those dirty little critters that made a mess of you in the first place. Oh, I can almost smell it. Roll that ketchup.
I don't want to die.
Oh, I don't want to die. Hot dog.
Finally, a brutal classic. Yes, video game nasty Kingpin has certainly courted controversy with its novel methods of cleaning carcasses. Not recommended by the British Board of Butchers, but you can certainly get your Sweeney Todd diploma here.
Now it's time for competition. And this week you can win a state-of-the-art voice command controller courtesy of MechWarrior 4 Vengeance.
But guess what? There's a little task.
Valentine's Day has come and gone. Flowers have been sent, chocolates have been nibbled, cards have been sealed with loving kisses and posted around the world. But what of Lara? What of Mario? What of a hungry little Pac-Man? Who will have sent them words of love and longing? The answer is you! If you fancy this prize, then what you have to do is write a damn funny Valentine's card to any video game character of your choice. If we chortle, the booty is yours.
So all you have to do is send in your suggestions to our website. Log on at www.forlater.com/bits.